Speak from the heart, I finally exhort. And all good women have a missionary streak, sir. Convince her her orifice will be your salvation, and she's yours. When I want your advice, Puss, I'll ask for it, he says, all at once hoity-toity. But at last he manages to pen 10 pages. A rake, a profligate, a card-sharper, a cashiered officer well on the way to rack and ruin, when first he saw, as if it were a glimpse of grace, her face, his angel, his good angel, who will lead him from perdition. Oh, what a masterpiece he penned! Such tears she wept at his addresses, says my tabby friend. Oh, Tabs, she sobs, for she calls me Tabs. I never meant to wreak such havoc with a pure heart, when I smiled to see a booted cat, and put his paper next to her heart and swore it was a good soul that sent her his vows, and she was too much in love with virtue to withstand him. If, she adds, for she's a sensible girl, he's neither old as the hills nor ugly as sin, that is. An admirable little note the ladies sent him in return, per Figaro here and there. She adopts a responsive yet uncompromising tone. For, says she, how can she usefully discuss his passion further without a glimpse of his person? He kisses her letter once, twice, 1,000 times. She must and will see me. I shall serenade her this very evening. So when dusk falls, off we trot to the piazza, he with an old guitar he pawned his sword to buy, and most, if I may say so, outlandishly rigged out in some kind of vagabond mountebank's outfit he bartered his gold-braided waistcoat with poor Pierrot braying in the square, for, moonstruck, zany, lovelorn loon, he was himself, even plastered, his face with flour to make it white, poor fool, and so ran home his heartsick state. There she is, the evening star with the clouds around her, but such a creaking of carts in the square, such a clatter and crash as they dismantle the stalls, such an ululation of ballad singers and oration of nostrum peddlers and perturbation of errand boys, that though he wails out his heart to her, "Oh, my beloved," why, she all in a dream sits with her gaze in the middle distance, where there's a crescent moon stuck on the sky behind the cathedral, pretty as a painted stage, and so is she. Does she hear him? Not a grace note. Does she see him? Never a glance. Up you go, Puss, tell her to look my way. If rococo's a piece of cake, that chaste, tasteful, early Palladian stumped many a better cat than I in its time. Agility's not in it when it comes to Palladian. Daring alone will carry the day, and though the first story's graced with a hefty caryatid, whose bulbous loincloth and tremendous pects facilitate the first ascent, the Doric column on her head proves a horse of a different colour, I can tell you. Had I not seen my precious Tabby crouched in the gutter above me, keening encouragement, I, even I, might never have braved that flying, upward leap that brought me, as if Harlequin himself on wires, in one bound to her window-sill. Dear God, the lady says, and jumps. I see she, too, sentimental thing, clutches a well-thumbed letter. Puss-in-Boots. I bow her with a courtly flourish. What luck to hear no sniff or sneeze. Where's Hag? A sudden flux sped her to the privy, not a moment to lose. Cast your eye below, I hiss. Him you know of lurks below in white with the big hat, ready to sing you an evening ditty. The bedroom door creaks open, then, and through the air puss goes, discretion is the better part. And for both their sweet sakes I did it. The sight of both their bright eyes inspired me to the never before attempted, by me or any other cat, in boots or out of them, the death-defying triple somersault. And a 3-story drop to the ground, what's more, a grand descent. Only the merest trifle winded, I'm proud to say, I neatly land on all my fours, and Tabs goes wild. Huzzah! But has my master witnessed my triumph? Has he, my arse? He's tuning up that old mandolin, and breaks as down I come again into his song. I would never have said, in the normal course of things, his voice would charm the birds out of the trees, like mine, and yet the bustle died for him. His homeward turning costers paused in their tracks to hearken. The preening street girls forgot their hard-edged smiles as they turned to him, and some of the old ones wept, they did. Tabs, up on the roof up there, prick up your ears, for by power it is I know my heart is in his voice. And now the lady lowers her eyes to him and smiles, as once she smiled at me. Then, bang! A stern hand pulls the shutters to, and it was as if all the violets in all the baskets of all the flower sellers drooped and faded all at once, and spring stopped dead in its tracks, and might this time not come at all, and the bustle of the business of the square, that had so magically quieted for his song, now rose up again with the harsh clamour of the loss of love. And we trudged drearily off to dirty sheets and the mean supper of bread and cheese, all I can steal him, but at least the poor soul manifests a hearty appetite. Now she knows he's in the world and not the ugliest of mortals. For the first time since that faithful morning, sleep sound. But sleep comes hard to Puss tonight. He takes a midnight stroll across the square, soon comfortably discusses a choice morsel of salt cod his tabby friend found among the ashes on the hearth, before our converse turns to other matters. "Rats," she says, "and take your boots off, you uncouth bugger. Those 3-inch heels wreak havoc with the soft flesh of my underbelly." When we recovered ourselves a little, I ask her what she means by those rats of hers, and she proposes her scheme to me. How my master must pose as a rat-catcher, and I his ambulant marmalade rat-trap. How we will then go kill the rats that ravage milady's bedchamber, the day the old fool goes to fetch his rents, and she can have her will of the lad at leisure, for, if there is one thing the hag fears more than a cat, it is a rat, and she'll cower in the cupboard till the last rat is off the premises before she comes out. Oh, this tabby one, sharp as a tack is she. I congratulate her ingenuity with a few affectionate cuffs round the head, and home again for breakfast. Ubiquitous puss, here, there, and everywhere. Who's your Figaro? Master applauds the rat ploy, but as to the rats themselves, how are they to arrive in the house in the first place, he queries. Nothing easier, my sir. My accomplice, a witty soubrette who lives among the cinders, dedicated as she is to the young lady's happiness, will personally strew a large number of dead and dying rats she has herself collected about the bedroom of the said ingenueuse duenna, and most particularly that of the said ingenue herself. This is to be done tomorrow morning as soon as Sir Pantaloon rides out to fetch his rents. By good fortune, down in the square, plying for hire, a rat-catcher. Since our hag cannot abide either a rat or a cat, it falls to milady to escort the rat-catcher, none other than yourself, sir. and his intrepid hunter, myself, to the site of the infestation. Once you're in her bedroom, sir, if you don't know what to do, then I can't help you. Keep your foul thoughts to yourself, puss. Some things, I see, are sacrosanct from humour. Sure enough, prompt at 5 in the bleak next morning, I observe with my own eyes the lovely lady's lubberly husband hump off on his horse like a sack of potatoes to rake in his dues. We're ready with the sign, Signor Furioso, the living death of rats, and in the leathers he's borrowed from the porter, I hardly recognize him myself, not with the false moustache. He coaxes the chambermaid with a few kisses. Poor deceived girl! Love knows no shame. And so we install ourselves under a certain shuttered window, with the great pile of traps, the humble yet determined. With the great pile of traps she's lent us, the sign of our profession, puss perched atop them, bearing the humble yet determined look of a sworn enemy of vermin.